Have you ever paused to consider that the principles guiding your financial life might be clashing with your spiritual journey? We are often told money is purely material, separate from our inner world. But what if this separation is an illusion, carefully crafted to keep us disconnected from a deeper truth? Imagine that the financial systems you navigate daily are subtly influencing not just your bank account, but also your peace of mind, your energy, and your very sense of freedom. There are unseen currents in the world of finance, forces that operate beyond the surface level of stocks and budgets. These hidden dynamics can unknowingly shape your perceptions, create invisible limitations, and even erode your spiritual vitality. Many who seek a more conscious and awakened life find themselves still wrestling with financial anxieties, feeling stuck despite their best efforts to align with higher principles. Why does this struggle persist? The answer lies in understanding the unspoken rules, the hidden architectures that govern the flow of wealth and influence. This is not about chasing riches, but about uncovering the truth behind the systems that impact everyone. By shedding light on the dark side of finance, we're not just talking about money, we are illuminating pathways to liberation. Prepare to embark on an eye-opening exploration that connects the dots between your financial reality and your spiritual aspirations. Discover how recognizing these hidden forces can empower you to reclaim your financial sovereignty and unlock a deeper sense of freedom, aligning your outer world with your inner values and finally paving the way for a more authentic and abundant life in every sense of the word. Building on the initial intrigue, let's delve into why understanding the dark side of finance is not just relevant, but essential, especially for those on a spiritual path. Many spiritual traditions emphasize detachment from material possessions. Yet we all operate within a world deeply structured by economic realities. This creates an inherent tension. We aspire to live from a place of higher consciousness, while often feeling pressured by financial systems that seem to prioritize competition, scarcity, and accumulation. This tension is not accidental. The modern financial framework, though presented as neutral and objective, is built upon certain underlying principles that can be in direct opposition to spiritual values like interconnectedness, generosity, and inner peace. For example, the constant pursuit of growth and profit without considering ethical or environmental impact can lead to a sense of spiritual unease, a feeling that something fundamental is missing or compromised in the pursuit of financial success. We need to understand the unspoken assumptions embedded within our economic structures. Think of concepts like compound interest, often hailed as the magic of wealth building, but consider its energetic implications: growth upon growth, potentially without direct value exchange. Or consider debt, a cornerstone of modern finance. Debt creates obligations, dependencies, and can generate cycles of stress and limitation that directly impact our emotional and spiritual well-being. Visual suggestion. Juxtapose images of thriving financial charts with images of stressed individuals or depleted natural resources. Therefore, exploring the dark side of finance isn't about rejecting money or material abundance. It's about gaining critical awareness. It's about discerning how these systems function beneath the surface and how they might be subtly shaping our beliefs, behaviors, and ultimately, our spiritual journey. By understanding these foundational elements, we can begin to navigate the financial world with greater consciousness, intention, and freedom, aligning our economic lives with our deepest spiritual values and aspirations. Ready to take these insights further? Understanding the dark side of finance is your first step towards spiritual and financial liberation. Subscribe now for more empowering content and join the conversation below. Share your thoughts, ask questions. Your voice is crucial in building this conscious community. Let's unlock true abundance together. To truly engage with the dark side of finance from a spiritual perspective, our first goal is cultivating financial awareness. This means moving beyond simply managing budgets to understanding the energy of money and the systems that govern it. For example, trace where your money flows. Where do you bank? Where do you invest? Research their practices. Do they align with your values of sustainability, ethical conduct, or community well-being? Secondly, actively align your financial decisions with your spiritual values. This is about conscious spending and investing. Instead of defaulting to conventional financial products, explore options that resonate with your principles. Consider supporting local businesses, ethical investment funds, or community-based initiatives. Visual suggestion: split screen showing conventional banking logos versus this is practical spirituality in action. Next, practice mindful consumption. Challenge the societal conditioning that equates worth with material possessions. Ask yourself, is this purchase truly serving my well-being and spiritual growth, or is it filling a void created by external pressures? Reduce impulsive buying and cultivate contentment with what you already have. This shifts your energy from seeking fulfillment outside yourself to finding it within. Finally, commit to continuous learning. Financial literacy is not just a practical skill, it's a form of empowerment. Seek out alternative economic models, explore philosophies of abundance and generosity, and engage in ongoing dialogue about the intersection of spirituality and finance. This continuous exploration ensures you remain awake and actively engaged in creating a more conscious and equitable financial reality for yourself and the world around you. The urgency to understand the dark side of finance in our spiritual lives has never been greater. We are living in a time of unprecedented financial complexity and volatility, where the systems that govern our economies often feel opaque and beyond our control. This uncertainty directly fuels anxiety, a spiritual disease that disconnects us from presence and inner peace. The illusion that finance is purely secular is crumbling as we witness its profound impact on our collective well-being and planetary health. The core problem lies in our spiritual naivety regarding the subtle influences of financial structures. We often compartmentalize our spiritual aspirations from our daily financial actions, failing to recognize how deeply intertwined they are. This separation leaves us vulnerable to manipulation, perpetuating cycles of debt, scarcity mindset, and a sense of powerlessness that directly contradicts the spiritual quest for liberation and inner sovereignty. Visual suggestion: image of a person meditating peacefully juxtaposed with chaotic stock market tickers. This is not just about personal wealth, it's about collective spiritual evolution. As we awaken spiritually, we must also awaken financially. Ignoring the darker currents of finance is akin to navigating a ship without understanding the tides and undercurrents. The time for passive acceptance is over. To truly embody spiritual principles in our lives and contribute to a more just and conscious world, we need to confront the hidden dynamics of finance head-on, starting now. This understanding is no longer a luxury, it's a spiritual imperative. Let's illuminate some key concepts that underpin the dark side of finance, especially as they relate to our spiritual well-being. Consider fractional reserve banking. Have you ever wondered how banks can lend out more money than they actually hold? This system allows banks to create credit, essentially money, based on a fraction of their deposits. Visual suggestion: simple diagram showing deposits versus. Is there a spiritual implication when money is created this way, almost from thin air, rather than representing tangible value or labor? Then there's inflation. We're told it's a natural economic phenomenon, but what is it energetically? Inflation is the subtle devaluation of your money over time. Your savings slowly lose purchasing power, even if the numbers in your account increase. Visual suggestion: Graph showing purchasing power decreasing over time despite nominal savings growth. Does this constant erosion of value contribute to a feeling of insecurity, a spiritual anxiety about scarcity? Is this aligned with a spiritual understanding of abundance? Consider the debt-based monetary system. Modern economies are fueled by debt. Governments, corporations, individuals are encouraged to borrow. While debt can stimulate economic activity, it also creates obligations and dependencies. Rhetorical question: does reliance on debt for economic function reflect a spiritual principle of freedom and self-reliance, or dependency and potential servitude? Does this system, inherently reliant on future earnings to repay past debts, align with a spiritual focus on the present moment and trust in divine provision? These are not just dry economic terms. They are foundational elements shaping the financial realities we inhabit. Understanding these concepts is the first step to discerning their deeper spiritual implications and beginning to navigate the world of finance with greater awareness and conscious intention. Applying these concepts practically means making conscious choices in your financial life. For example, understanding fractional reserve banking might lead you to question where you keep your money. Instead of solely relying on large banks, consider credit unions or community banks that reinvest more directly in local economies. This is a tangible step towards aligning your finances with community well-being. Dealing with inflation spiritually involves shifting from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance. While inflation erodes purchasing power, focusing on gratitude for what you have and practicing generosity can counteract the feeling of lack. Practical example: consciously choosing to support local farmers or businesses, even if slightly more expensive, as a way to invest in community and value quality over purely chasing the lowest price. Navigating a debt-based system requires mindfulness around borrowing. Before taking on debt, ask, is this truly necessary, or is it driven by societal pressure or fleeting desires? Prioritize experiences and relationships over accumulating material possessions. Cultivate contentment and reduce reliance on consumer debt. Challenge: society often equates creditworthiness with financial success. Spiritual strategy: redefine success beyond debt capacity to inner peace and freedom from financial burdens. These practical applications aren't about becoming financially perfect overnight. They are about incremental shifts towards greater awareness and alignment. Embracing this journey is itself a spiritual practice, a conscious effort to bring integrity and intention to every aspect of our lives, including our finances. Moving beyond personal financial adjustments, advanced spiritual finance involves actively creating systems aligned with higher consciousness. Consider the example of intentional communities or cooperatives that operate on principles of shared economy and ethical resource management. These models directly challenge the conventional financial paradigm, prioritizing community well-being over individual profit maximization. Pivotal example: mention of the Mondragon Corporation in Spain as a large-scale example of a worker cooperative, or smaller-scale examples of successful community land trusts. These are not just idealistic dreams. They are demonstrable models of alternative financial realities. Another advanced strategy is conscious investment activism. This involves actively engaging with corporations as shareholders to advocate for ethical and sustainable practices. Instead of passively investing, spiritually aligned individuals can use their financial leverage to push for corporate responsibility, environmental stewardship, and fair labor practices. Expert opinion integration. Cite examples of successful shareholder activism or ethical investment funds that have demonstrably shifted corporate behavior. These advanced approaches demonstrate that spiritual finance is not just about personal purity, but about actively shaping a more just and conscious financial world for all. To strengthen the understanding of spiritual finance, Consider the growing body of research supporting its real-world impact. For instance, studies by organizations like the Global Sustainable Investment Alliance demonstrate the exponential growth of socially responsible investing, now trillions of dollars globally. This isn't just a trend, it signifies a tangible shift in investor consciousness. Expert opinions also validate this perspective. Economist and author Dr. Hazel Henderson, a pioneer in ethical investing, has long argued that conventional economic models often fail to account for social and environmental costs, creating hidden, dark sides that spiritual awareness can illuminate and address. Data further reveals the resilience of alternative models. Worker cooperatives, for example, have shown greater longevity and stability compared to traditionally structured businesses, particularly during economic downturns. Statistics from organizations supporting cooperatives highlight their positive impact on local economies and employee well-being. Anecdotally, communities built on shared economy principles often report higher levels of social cohesion and individual fulfillment, even with modest material wealth. These examples, from large-scale investment trends to grassroots community models, illustrate that aligning finance with spiritual values is not only ethically sound, but also practically viable and increasingly impactful in the real world. Understanding the dark side, therefore, isn't about fear-mongering, but about informed empowerment. It's about recognizing the limitations of purely materialistic financial systems and actively participating in creating alternatives that nurture both our financial and spiritual well-being, contributing to a more conscious and equitable world for everyone. This shift towards spiritual finance is not a utopian dream, but an evolving reality, supported by data, expert insights, and the lived experiences of individuals and communities choosing to prioritize values alongside financial viability. You might still be wondering, is knowing about the dark side of finance really going to change anything for me? It's a valid question. Consider this. Studies show that financial stress is a major contributor to overall anxiety and diminished well-being, affecting almost 70% of adults, according to recent surveys. Ignoring the systemic pressures only allows them to operate unconsciously in our lives, impacting our spiritual energy without us even realizing it. Think of it like this. Renowned financial expert Paul Hawken highlights that trillions of dollars are now moving into socially responsible investments. It's not niche, it's a significant shift. This tells us people are seeking alignment, they are demanding change. Understanding the darker mechanics empowers you to consciously direct your own financial energy, even in small ways, towards systems that resonate with your values. It's not about becoming a financial guru overnight, but gaining clarity. Just like understanding basic nutrition helps you make healthier food choices, basic financial literacy, infused with spiritual awareness, empowers you to make choices that support your overall well-being, not just your bank balance. This knowledge is your first step towards reclaiming your financial power and aligning it with your spiritual journey. To summarize, understanding the dark side of finance is about recognizing that our financial systems are not neutral. They carry inherent values and subtle influences that can impact our spiritual lives. We've explored concepts like fractional reserve banking, inflation, and debt-based systems, not to induce fear, but to awaken awareness. This awareness is your power. Your immediate next step is to start observing your own financial landscape with new eyes. Begin by tracking your spending, not just to budget, but to see where your energy is flowing. Ask yourself, do my financial choices reflect my spiritual values? Then, commit to learning more. Explore ethical banking options, research sustainable investment, and engage in conversations about conscious economics. Small shifts in your financial habits, driven by spiritual intention, create ripples of positive change, both within yourself and in the world around you. By applying these insights, you move from passive participation in a potentially unconscious system to active creation of a financial reality aligned with your deepest values. The benefit is not just financial savvy, it's greater peace, authentic empowerment, and a deeper sense of integrity between your inner spiritual life and your outer material world. Take this knowledge and run with it. Begin your journey towards spiritual financial freedom today. Subscribe to stay connected, share your insights in the comments, and let's build a more conscious financial future together. The journey into the dark side of finance, viewed through a spiritual lens, reveals a profound truth. Money, in its essence, is energy. And like all energy, it can be used to build or to bind, to awaken or to obscure. By understanding the hidden currents of the financial world, we are not just becoming financially literate, we are becoming spiritually discerning. We begin to see how our economic choices ripple outwards, affecting not only our own lives, but the collective consciousness itself. This exploration is an invitation to move beyond passive participation in systems that may not align with our deepest values. It's a call to conscious creation, to actively shape a financial reality that mirrors our spiritual aspirations for justice, sustainability, and genuine abundance for all. Remember, true financial freedom isn't about accumulating wealth in a broken system, but about liberating ourselves from illusions and aligning our economic lives with our soul's purpose. Let this understanding be the beginning of your empowered journey. Continue to question, to learn, and to act with intention. For in the conscious integration of our spiritual values and our financial lives, we discover not just a better way to manage money, but a more authentic way to live.